What's up, Army? Welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to share this space with me. I hope you're doing well. I actually have a pretty lengthy channeled message today. It's like, I say lengthy because I feel like it took me forever to write it and channel it. Like my hand was cramped by the time I was done. It's just, well, I guess I don't know, maybe it's about like 4 pages. I don't know. If you don't have the patience for a channeled message, then go ahead and click off. I don't give a shit. Yeah, and it's like not everybody's gonna get it. What am I hearing? Oh my god, I'm hearing that song. Some of y'all might know this and some of y'all won't. Some of y'all might get with this and some of y'all won't. Let me clear my throat. You know that song? You know that song. Okay. Anyway, that's what I'm hearing right now. Right before I came on here, I lit this candle. This one right here in the seashell. And my minifigure fell off. Took like a nose, like I went to drop the candle inside of it and I missed. And I have this dried flower here. The candle was lit. And I had the dry excuse me, this is like, this energy is coming through like crazy. So this candle is lit and I have the dried flower and I dropped the candle out of the little clamshell tea light holder thingy that I have here. It missed the flower. It landed flame up and it knocked my minifigure off, tumbled onto the floor, and I realized that it was Optimus Prime and I heard Autobots roll out. So the Autobot literally rolled out when I started this message. I feel like there's going to be more that comes through with this message because I always get nervous when I start channeling and I'm feeling like my hands are shaky. I'm feeling very like charged right now. So let me just get through this, okay? Again, this is a channeled collective message. Some of y'all get with this. Some of y'all, oh my God, I almost want to start this all over again. I feel like I'm stumbling all over myself. Some of you will get this and some of you won't. Spirit is making that very clear, made that very clear while I was writing this out. If you don't get it, it's just not your time. And when you're ready to get it, you will. All right. So when I started channeling, the first thing I heard was heed the warning. And I was given the example of what I've been going through. It's actually very personal, but I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version. Back in February, I was diagnosed with something that I have been in denial about. I've been refusing to go on medication. I've been convinced that it's a fluke, that my body was just going to heal itself, that it was just going to go away. I've been ignoring it. I went to one neurologist that diagnosed me and I said, well, I don't like her, so I'm going to go to another neurologist. And I went to another neurologist who repeated all the tests and gave me the same diagnosis. And I was still in denial. I was like, well, we still have blood work. We still have this. We still have that. It could still be this. It could still be that. I could still just spontaneously just heal and be fine and still refusing to go on the medication. And then the other day, I saw a third neurologist that confirmed everything and really wanted to know why the hell I was not on medication yet. So I've decided to stop being in denial and start the medication. And the example that is given to me, which I actually just posted it onto the community board. I told this story in a video about a year ago, and I just posted it to the community page. You can go and check it out. I don't know if you know the story of two boats in a helicopter. Long story short, this guy's drowning. He's saying, God will save me. And a boat comes by to save him. He says, nope, no, thank you. God will save me. Another boat comes by to save him. No, thank you. God will save me. Now he's like on the verge of drowning on the roof of his house, and the helicopter comes by and is like, hey, get in the helicopter. He's like, no, thank you. God will save me. And then he drowns, and he asks God, why didn't you save me? He said, I sent two boats in a helicopter. What are you talking about? So that's the situation that I'm in. This third neurologist is in a helicopter. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So if I don't heed the warning myself, I will have nobody to blame but myself. Once again, Spirit has used me as an example. This is a collective message. So somebody, I know at least one person is going through that, is getting warnings about something. Humanity is getting warnings about something, is really the entire, on a micro, on a larger scale, humanity is getting a warning to really straighten up and fly right. Also, I was given the scenario, which I applied to my personal situation as well, is like the story that we were told, or we've been told. I know there are people out there that will debate the truth or debate this version of the story. But the story that we've been told about Bob Marley is that he got cancer in his toe, right? And they told him, you can cut your toe off and keep it from spreading. And he refused to cut his toe off, and the cancer spread, and he ended up dying of cancer. This is a collective message. There's a way that we can stop the infection of humanity, and we need to heed the warning as a collective. And then Spirit, again, used me as an example of me always wanting to know what's next. I always want to know what's next. Well, what's coming next? And what's coming next? And what's coming next? Instead of just getting comfortable in the here and now. So Spirit says, stop ignoring what's now. This is for the collective. Stop ignoring what's now. Now prepares you for what's next. If you can't see it, it's because you're not supposed to. It's a bitter pillow. God, I am all over the place today. 8/18 on 8/18. Bitter pill for me to swallow, because I am very uncomfortable with the unknown. Not gonna lie to you. Sometimes what's happening now is to head off what could potentially happen next. Again, using me as an example, if I don't take the medication now, like somebody can say, oh, your future will be this. But me taking the medication that is being recommended for me will head off that potential outcome. Understand? Spirit can't lead you into a higher timeline if you're stuck or insistent on what's supposed to be, or insistent on what's supposed to happen next. Sometimes what's next is hidden so as to not solidify it. There's something better than your, I'm sorry, I wrote this so fast. I'm having a hard time reading my own handwriting. There's something better than you thought or assumed, and Spirit is trying to lead you to that. Let go of the wheel. Let go of the wheel. Some people are very stuck in, well, this is supposed to happen. This is what's supposed to happen next. This is the outcome. This is some people are so insistent on a projected outcome, that they're not making room and space for an even better outcome than what they imagined. That's what this message right here is saying, or this part of the message. And then to enhance that and bring it to the now moment, just because you're not currently where you assumed you'd be, or where you're insistent on thinking you should be, doesn't mean you're not exactly where you're supposed to be in order to land you where you're actually meant to be. Staying hyper focused on I'm supposed to be this and I'm supposed to be that and I'm supposed to be here. By whose standards, first of all, are you assuming you're supposed to be there? And second of all, you may be selling yourself short. Even if it seems like the greatest thing you can imagine, you may still be selling yourself short of where and who and what you're supposed to be, meant to be, your highest potential. People are underestimating the power of thought and its insidious ability to keep them stuck in timelines they don't belong. The trauma-shattered parts are not your friends, and they are not interested in bringing you to your highest potential. The trauma parts are merely, are merely echoes, ghosts of energy trapped in time that need to be released from that time and space in order to unite with the healed parts of you. Let me take a minute to explain this. It's been explained to me by my mentor and by spirit, combination of the two, that when we experience trauma, there's a part of us in that time and space. Let's say, for example, let's just say my first trauma was when I was an infant. Now, in that trauma, there is an infant version of me trapped in that time and space because I haven't healed it. The way Spirit showed it to me, I tried to draw it the best that I could. This is you. And this is your energy field, your auric field. And every time you experience a trauma, there's a piece of you that is trapped in that time and space that is floating outside of you. Shattered parts of you. And they leave holes in your energy. I feel like I'm not explaining it enough. So it's that trauma took that part of you and created its own ghost. When you see ghosts in the movies and stuff, right? Let's say there's a haunted house. In this haunted house, there's spirits that are trapped in time. Let's say somebody was murdered in that house. That spirit is trapped in that space and time, is trapped in that trauma. Not even in movies. It happens in real life, but I'm saying in movies because that's where people see it the most, right? And then they call in a priest or, somebody who specializes in house cleansings or whatever it is. They call them in and say, I got this old lady walking around my house all the time. Like, we need to get rid of her. And what do? They release it. They tell that energy, it's okay to go. It's okay. You're free. Be free. Follow the light, right? That's what happens when we experience trauma. And the more trauma we experience, the more ghost versions of ourselves that are trapped in that specific time and space that are haunting us, essentially. And they are not interested. They don't have a consciousness. They're trapped. And they are not interested in bringing us to our highest timeline. They are only interested in staying trapped in that time and space, like a ghost. Every trauma creates its own ghost, its own echo in time and space. And when we remember that trauma, or we feed into the pain of that trauma, or we refuse to heal that trauma, we're entertaining that ghost instead of releasing it. I think I'm getting ahead of myself, so I'm just going to keep reading. People like to use the affirmation, I call back all my energy. Yet they fail to realize that much of their energy is trapped in different spaces of time, held captive by the memories of unhealed trauma. The only way a person can harvest your energy, a lot of people talk about the harvest energy, vampires, whatever. The only way a person or energy can harvest your energy is when you allow the outside trauma parts, those ghosts, to take the wheel. The present you, the healed version of you, needs to recognize when these trauma parts are echoing in to take the wheel and hijack you. Because that's what they do. These past parts, these past ghosts, these echoes of our trauma, they like to come in and tell us we don't know what we're doing. They need to take the wheel because they want to keep reliving that trauma. I keep getting that example of how spirits are portrayed in movies, how they're stuck in this time and space, just trapped in repeating the same wound, the same trauma, the same, especially when somebody dies in a traumatic way, they relive that, right? They're stuck in this loop and can't seem to get free. It's our job to release those ghosts. People also fail to realize that in taking all of this into consideration, their shadow side itself is comprised of shattered trauma parts, making your shadow more than one voice or energy. Oh, that's my shadow side. But the thing is through trauma, the shadow becomes shattered. So there can be one thought pattern or behavior that you may consider to be your shadow side and you healed it, but you're still neglecting all the other shattered parts. Of course, depending on how much trauma you've been through, generational trauma as well. Like I said in the beginning, this is like the condensed version, and I can go off on tangents of any one of these points, but I'm going to try and keep it as condensed as possible. Healing the shadow includes bringing all of its parts into a cohesive and unified energy that becomes a backup and a defending voice to your light side instead of a distracting, destructive one. When these ghosts are not freed, when these ghosts are just trapped parts of us, haunting us, yelling in our ear, telling us we're not good enough, telling us not to trust anybody, telling us that we're going to be abandoned, telling us all these things that they like to tell us. They're not serving us, they're hurting us. But when you heal these parts, then your shadow is healed, and your shadow becomes like that backup guy to your light. In this regard, the light and the shadow become a team for your highest good. The shadow can only be healed, not eliminated. People want to kill their ego, they want to kill their shadow, but it can only be healed, not eliminated, because light will always cast a shadow no matter what. You want to train your dragon, not kill it. People see, again, I'm having a hard time reading my handwriting. People see the ugly parts of themselves and immediately become embarrassed by them, shamed by them, hide them, instead of questioning where they come from. What space and time are they echoing? And how to release them. Imagine, figuratively speaking, you're standing in heaven and these parts are crying out to you from hell. You are the one with the key to free them. These parts are all you, and you can continue to condemn them and ignore their cries of pain, or you can choose to heal them with love. You can choose to love yourself completely, light and dark. You can choose to be fully aware of and accepting of all the aspects that make you who you are, and choose love over hate, faith in change over fear of being haunted by them forever. In this respect, when humans learn the kind of compassion for themselves, in this respect, when humans learn this kind of compassion for themselves, they will begin to exercise the same compassion for others. The key is in our similarities, not in our differences. To deny the parts that need love and compassion starves the entire human collective of love and compassion. Heal yourself, heal the world. It sounds so basic, so simple, right? And I know we've said it before. Spirit needs to reiterate it. I stopped this, like whenever I think the message is done, I like seal it with a heart. You can see it right here. I stopped this message 4 times and it kept going. So moving on to another segment. To bring it back to the beginning, the medicine humanity is neglecting to take is love, unconditional love for self. Heed the warning. The warning is people are not loving themselves. The collective needs to heal. Where are you neglecting yourself? Where are you abusing yourself? Where are you hating yourself? Where are you shaming yourself? Where are you not loving yourself? Those are the areas or parts that need light the most. Imagine these parts are sick and infected, and in order to heal, they need love. And you are the only one that can write the prescription and administer the medication. You are the key. You hold the code. Someone else's love can help, but only you have the right combination for your growth, potential, and highest good. Another person's love is not designed to heal you. Only yours is. Your love is designed for your DNA. Your love is the key to your healing. Another person showing you love can give you the confidence to love yourself. But the choice to love yourself is yours. Much like how sobriety only really works when a person makes the decision to do it for themselves, when they decide their life is worth living and they are worthy of being healthy. Until then, no amount of love, begging, pleading, or reasoning from anybody else will ever be enough. It will plant seeds, but those seeds can only grow when the individual decides to water them. How many times do you see, You remember that show Intervention? Like, do they still make that show, like Intervention, back in the day? Like, the whole family would do the intervention and be like, "Listen, you need to change. You're gonna die. This is gonna happen. That's gonna happen. This is gonna happen." But if the person doesn't believe it, the person doesn't get their own wake up call. Even if they agree to go to rehab, they're gonna come out of rehab, and relapse. The belief has to come from within. The love has to come from within. The strength has to come from within. Again, other people can plant the seeds for us. We can plant the seeds for other people. Never underestimate the power of planting a seed. But ultimately, the watering has to come from the individual. This is how healing works in all aspects. I can sit here and tell you, I tell you guys all the time, you're beautiful. I love you. You're beautiful. I love you. I could tell you every day. I could tell you every 5 minutes for the rest of your life. But it's not going to resonate. It's not going to hit unless you believe it. Everybody is loved and cherished by the all-knowing, all-powerful force of creation that is most commonly known as God. Call it what you want, though. Everybody is loved and cherished by God. It doesn't matter what you've done, and this force never seeks to punish, only to teach. People are the ones who decide to define things as punishment. We're not here to be shamed or punished. We've been trained to be obedient through fear, but that does not come from God. The enemy, the energy, not the enemy, what the fuck? The enemy of fear, I said the enemy again. The enemy of fear is God. The energy of fear, control, obedience is not God. God is love. And to know love is to know God. To heal your distorted parts is to heal the distortion of God. When humans learn to become love, they will know and become God. If you want to change the world, you need to recognize it all starts with you. To shame another person is a projection of your own guilt and shame. Then I got the quote, worry about your own sins because God ain't going to ask you about mine. Self-love begins with accountability. And then Spirit reminded me of step 10 in recovery. Continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Humans need to recover from generations of trauma, and the fastest way to stop the repetition of history is through accountability. Asking, what is my part? How can I do things differently for a more positive and healing outcome? The answer will always be love. Now, when I was learning about these parts, these shattered parts of mine, these trauma parts of mine, when I was learning about it, Spirit kept saying to me, Lever 2000 for all your 2000 parts. If you remember, I don't know if you remember that soap or that commercial, but that's all I kept hearing. And Spirit reminded me of that. And then I heard love for you and all your 2000 parts. It's the answer. Love is the answer. All we need is love. The end. Like, just the end. Everybody wants to make life and everything so complicated. But you cannot give me a single scenario where love doesn't apply as the answer. Whether it's self-love or love for your neighbor, love is always the answer. Instead of learning, most people choose to, Instead of learning, most people choose to fear what they don't understand. If you want change, don't be like most people. And then I heard the Tupac quote, "We're made to evolve. You either grow or you disappear." And then lastly, because the t-shirt always applies, right? This time Spirit made a direct reference to my t-shirt, Def Leppard, and Spirit said, "Don't be a Def Leppard, refusing to listen and refusing to change your spots." And that's the message. I know I stumbled all over the place, and I apologize for that. But that's the message, and it's only 30 minutes, man. I actually got through that a lot faster than I thought I would. I just heard it's great to see you. It's great to see you too. It feels good to be here. It feels good to share this message. Spirit would not let me ignore it. I keep trying to just fade back into the background, and Spirit won't let me. So I know this message is not just for somebody. I know that it's for a lot of somebody's. And if you feel like it will help somebody else, if you feel like it could plant a seed in somebody else, and then if it's in your heart to do so, then go ahead and share it so that it can get to all the people that need to hear it, so that we can heal as a collective, so we can call back our energy, call back our shattered parts, and take back control. I know it seems so unrealistic to some people. It seems so fantastical or impossible. But I personally feel very passionate about it. I feel it in my heart. I resonate with these messages to a degree I can't even explain. I feel like this is what we're here for. To heal ourselves and to heal each other as much as we can while we're here. And it all starts with awareness. There are a lot of people that are not only still asleep, but will stay there. Those people are none of your business. You are your only responsibility. And your love and light, we already know this, will have a domino effect. And Spirit is saying the effects, you can't fathom the effects of what you will have on this world. Spirit is saying right now, they're saying you can't see what we see. You can't fully understand how important it is because you can't see what we see. But there's a level of trust that needs to happen. Trust that your impact is enormous. I feel the collective of higher selves, if that makes any sense. It's the only way I can explain it right now. And this is interesting. They're standing in solidarity. I'm getting the example of, you know how sometimes you see people being interviewed, and they ask the question, what would you tell your 12-year-old self? What would you tell your 5-year-old self? What would you tell your younger self? What advice would you give your younger self? This is the advice. The this is the advice of future timelines. This is the warning. This is heed the warning. It's not fear. It's this energy of you cannot possibly imagine your potential because you're so young. It's an energy that's seeing us, or seeing humanity, almost in its infancy stage. And it's loving, and it's compassionate, and it's not trying to instill fear. It's just saying, it's like, this is the easier way. They're saying you can struggle and still have the same outcome. You can fight and be in denial, and be, how some people, I know me personally, some things I had to learn the hard way. It's like what we're talking about. There's always those warnings, those seeds that are planted, and it's like, this is an energy that is trying to save us from learning the hard way, trying to save us from having to clean up a bigger mess. We are already trying to clear generations of trauma, and this is the higher version of our future selves trying to say, I just heard, let's put a pin in it before it gets worse, because there will only be more to clean up. At some point, the cycle has to stop, right? At some point, we have to draw the line in the sand for ourselves and say no. No is a complete sentence, right? No more. Say no to those trauma parts. I will not let you haunt me anymore. I will not let you keep me trapped in these times and spaces that no longer exist. Past, present, future, right? How long are you willing to allow your past affect the present and the future? This is the question we need to ask ourselves. And this is the question that this collective that I'm channeling right now is asking of us. What is it going to take for you to stop torturing yourselves? What is it going to take for you to recognize that you are in control? The present you, the present healed version of you, is in control of all timelines. And people are underestimating the power in that, the power in the present moment. When these echoes from the past, these ghosts from the past come up, are we allowing them to pull us back into timelines we don't even exist in anymore? I keep hearing time space continuum, like we're in Back to the Future or something. But it has been proven that the present moment reverberates through all the timelines. There's a thread. We are connected to the thread through all timelines. This is the timeline we're on. It's like I don't know. It's like an elevator. It's like I don't know how to explain it. What I'm seeing is like, let's say you're standing here in this present moment and you decide to move forward. I'm seeing you being the pin, the determining factor of which timelines you pull with you. How do I explain that? I'm seeing it like this is you, right? And all the timelines are threads surrounding you, and your current timeline is going through you. Spirit is saying it's as simple as just pulling a different timeline, picking a different thread and connecting to that. It's, it's, it's the energy of connecting to something higher and disconnecting from what no longer serves you. It's like wires and synapses, and this is crazy the way I'm seeing it. I don't know if you've seen the movie Avatar, the Blue People Avatar, not Airbender Avatar. And there's that tree. What do they call that tree? That big tree that like holds all the information, right? And it's just got all these threads and these vines, all the magic. It's got all the things. It's like you are the trunk of the tree. You are the orchestrator. You are the deciding factor of where you go. It's accountability on a whole nother level. It's not just what did I do wrong and not wrong, but what could I have done differently in that situation or that situation or that situation. It's what timeline do I choose right now? It brings a whole deeper meaning to releasing the past. It's literally cutting the timeline cord and choosing another one. What trajectory do you want? Are you getting in the boat? Are you getting in the helicopter? Or are you refusing to get in the boat or the helicopter because your expectation of how God is supposed to answer you and how God is supposed to save you, or even what God is supposed to be, is keeping you here instead of expanding and opening your mind to the infinite possibilities that can lead you to a better space and time? What are you choosing? I'm hearing the term conscious awareness. Where is your conscious awareness? What are you focused on? Is it distraction? How is it making you feel? What is it triggering in you? Why is it triggering that in you? What is your fear? They do this thing in recovery called a fear inventory. Maybe take note of your fears. and where they came from. Maybe it's generational. Maybe it's been passed down. That's another thing that I learned is there are parts of us that have become shattered through our own trauma. And there are parts of us that aren't even us. And if you can slow down enough to take that higher perspective and look at this part the way it's presenting itself to you, what does it look like? Does it look like you, or does it look like something that's not even yours? Like, I've seen parts of myself look like the Mucinex guy, when it takes on a different shape than you, when it looks like something or someone different, it's not even yours. It's somebody else's trauma that was put on you, somebody else's belief that was put on you. These ghosts, these echoes of the past, feeding them, allowing them to take the wheel, allowing ourselves to be triggered back into the past, our past or our ancestors' past. It doesn't really matter. Allowing ourselves to be triggered back into the past. I'm seeing the Two of Swords. It blocks our future as a collective. You might think, oh, well, whatever. I'm stuck in the past. It's my life. I can do whatever I want. How many other people are thinking that? And in turn, stunts the whole collective. Just like your growth can have a domino effect and raise the vibration of the whole collective, your stubbornness, your insistence on not changing your spots, not listening to the guidance, not heeding the warning, also has its own domino effect. Are you feeding infection or growth, healing, fungus or fun? Again, Spirit is not saying this is not to scare you, but it is a warning to their younger selves. I keep getting that. It's not a warning, it's advice. Words of wisdom. It's advice. What would you tell your younger self? Spirit, future timelines. This is what they're telling us. We are the younger selves, and they're trying to tell us to listen up. I have a card in my deck that I haven't even used that deck. Actually, it's over there. I channeled stuck, the word stuck, and no, excuse me, the word stupid. Stupid. Stuck thinking under persuasive, idiotic direction. That's the way Spirit gave it to me. Stupid. Stuck thinking under persuasive, idiotic direction. Are you following people who are for growth, or are you following people who are stuck in the past? We are made to evolve. You either grow or you disappear. These parts of us, these parts of the collective that are refusing to grow, it's time they disappear. I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you, Spirit. And thank you. If you're still with me, you already know you're a fucking real one. And I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Thank you for your continued love and support of me end this channel. And I will catch you on the next one. You're beautiful. I love you.